On the day of Eileen's piano recital, Kent had to go on a business trip to New York. Eileen, suspecting him of infidelity, mischievously recorded the contents of Kent's secretive phone call. Listening with a mixture of anticipation and anxiety, I was shocked by the raw conversation. "Oh, let's love each other a lot. Yeah, I want to be together soon too. But my wife won't agree to a divorce, you know. Of course, I only love Naomi." My head turned blank with anger and emptiness. Choosing a cheating trip over his daughter's recital, is that what a father does? Intense anger surged, and my body heated up. Fine then. I'll divorce you. However, you'll pay the price for betraying me and Eileen, got it? I'm Cindy, a 28-year-old housewife. I live with my husband Kent, who is 5 years older, and our daughter Eileen, who is in the last year of nursery school. After graduating from junior college, I joined my current company as a new employee and met Kent. Kent, who leads the product development team as the team leader, was reliable and wonderful. Eventually, he confessed to me, and we started dating. The following year, I became pregnant. When I told Kent, he was very happy, and even my parents-in-law were in a welcoming mood, saying, "We're so lucky to have such a young bride." The parents and everyone at work celebrated us, and we had a grand wedding ceremony. However, the happiness didn't last long. As soon as Eileen was born, Kent and my parents-in-law's true colors were revealed. "What? A girl?" said my father-in-law when he rushed to the hospital right after my delivery. I was hoping that my young wife would produce a vigorous heir, but I'm disappointed. My mother-in-law said, "If you want us to recognize you as part of our family, then hurry up and give birth to a boy." I'm sorry, Mom, Dad. I'll do my best next time. They came without being invited, criticized us thoroughly, and then left. I was not just angry but also astonished. Wait, am I the only one giving birth here? And an heir? We're just a regular working-class family, aren't we? I wanted to say a lot, but I didn't want to argue, so I swallowed it all. Well, so this is the true nature of my in-laws and Kent. I grew increasingly worried seeing Kent engrossed in his mobile game without even looking at our newborn daughter. The next day, I received a message from Kent's sister, May. It had been since our wedding since I last talked to May. I heard from my brother that the baby was safely born. I thought it would be a bother to rush to the hospital, so I'll send some congratulatory gifts to your home. I immediately replied with words of thanks. She seems like a thoughtful person, unlike my parents-in-law and Kent. After a month of staying with my parents, when I returned home, I found lovely baby clothes and stuffed animals waiting for me, so I promptly called to express my gratitude. As I continued to exchange messages with May, we became close, and meeting up for a chat occasionally became a refreshing break after Eileen started nursery school. Kent, on the other hand, dumped all the household chores on me while I worked full-time. Before we got married, he used to pretend to be a supportive husband, saying, "I'll support you if you want to continue working, and I'll help with the housework." But he completely changed his tune. Not only that, Kent couldn't even take care of himself properly. He'd leave his dishes on the table after meals, scatter his shirts and socks on the floor, and lounge on the sofa in his tracksuit, playing with his phone like a giant child. "Dad, you're supposed to put your clothes in the laundry basket in the bathroom." "Shut up, don't talk to me." It's your fault I messed up." Eileen, scolded by him, leaves his side feeling dejected. "Hey Kent, if you're free, could you hang up the laundry? That's women's work. My mom used to handle the housework properly. Unlike a stay-at-home mom, I don't have time." To which Kent replied in a dismissive tone, as if to say, "Give me a break. Every housewife manages the housework perfectly. If you're slacking off on household chores, why don't you quit your job? There are plenty of replacements for you, right, Cindy?" The last line pierced my heart. Certainly, there are plenty of colleagues in the same department who can do the same level of work as me, unlike the roles of wife and mother. But would he really say that out loud? Even when I discussed wanting to buy a dishwasher and a clothes dryer, Kentaro told me, "If you're going to slack off on household chores, then quit your job." "Mom, I'll help you wash the dishes." "Thank you." "Then, could you please wash the pot and the ladle?" After providing a step stool for her, Eileen climbed up and happily started washing the pot. The children have much more consideration than my husband does. While making sure not to let my husband, who was lounging on the sofa, enter my field of vision, I resumed washing the dishes. Since Aileen was born, Kent hardly showed any interest. Diaper changes, baths, putting her to sleep, none of that was his concern. Even as she began to toddle around, he didn't bother to initiate any interaction with her. On weekends, when he was lying on the sofa with nothing to do, if Aileen asked him to play, he'd shoo her away with a wave of his hand. When she tried to talk to him, he would blatantly show his displeasure. "Hey Dad, I have a piano recital coming up. I'm going to play the Chicks Walk. I can play it really well." Kent abruptly raised his voice. "Shut up because you're annoying." "Come on, it's fine. Just listen to her once in a while." "I hate the piano and kids' voices. They irritate me." Kent snarled at the piano with disdain. "For the most part, there's no way she could ever be a pianist. You don't know about that. Aileen is working hard on her practice, right?" I hurriedly added, trying to salvage the situation after Kent's statement crushed the child's dream. But Aileen, with a sad expression, descended from the piano bench, took a picture book from the bookshelf, sat down with her back to us, and opened the book on her lap. Last year, Aileen was inspired by a live piano performance at a city event and started attending piano lessons, aspiring to become a pianist. To enable her to play freely at home, I purchased a piano with a silent function using my salary. After returning from nursery school, Aileen diligently practiced every day with headphones on. And her efforts paid off when she was recognized and selected to participate in the next recital. As Kent nonchalantly left in the car with his phone in hand, Aileen's shoulders slumped in disappointment. "I wish Dad could have heard the performance. Let's have him listen next time." "Oh, I know, let's try the method the teacher taught us. Listening to the recording helps identify the parts where we need improvement." Aileen's face lit up suddenly. "Mom, I learned how to record with the smartwatch." "Okay, I'll listen while you play." Aileen pressed the recording button on the smartwatch my parents gave her for her birthday and placed it on the piano before starting to play. "Wow, have you improved again? Aileen, you're amazing." In response to my heartfelt praise, Aileen beamed with joy. We were supposed to go to the recital together with Kent. Though he seemed reluctant, he promised Aileen, "I'll come watch, too," which motivated her to practice even harder than usual. However, on Friday night, Kent casually mentioned, "I have a business trip to Tokyo starting tomorrow. I'll be back Monday morning." What? Aileen was really looking forward to Dad coming. Is work more important than our daughter's recital? Well, it can't be helped. It was decided suddenly. I felt skeptical of Kent's sour response. Can business trips be arranged at such short notice? Lately, Kent always kept his phone close to him at home, claiming that calls or messages were work-related. He would then nervously retreat to his study. It's the very behavior of someone having an affair. I want to find evidence, but they're so cautious, even sleeping with their phone clutched tightly, that I can't sneak a peek. In such a situation, we reached the piano recital. Aileen, dressed in a pink dress, nervously but flawlessly played her piece in front of a large audience, and the venue was enveloped in thunderous applause. The next morning, as I prepared breakfast in the kitchen, still feeling happy from the night before, Aileen, with sleepy eyes, came downstairs and spoke to me. "Mom, are you going shopping by bike today?" "Yes, to the shopping district. The roads are narrow around there, so it's inconvenient to take the car." "You shouldn't do it. You might fall and get hurt." I couldn't help but smile. "Aileen, adults don't fall like kids do." "But Mom, you fell in my dream. There was blood coming from your knee." I gently stroked Aileen's determined face and calmed her down. That evening, as planned, on the way back from shopping, I turned left on the sidewalk and was startled by a cat suddenly darting out. I hastily hit the brakes, causing onions to spill out of the front basket. Distracted by that, I lost my balance and fell off the bike. Ouch! Of all days, I was wearing a skirt, so when I looked at my knee, it was bleeding. Just as Aileen predicted, I fell and got hurt. When I shared it as a funny story with Kent, who came home from work, he looked at me and Aileen suspiciously. "It's just a coincidence." "It's not a coincidence, Dad." Aileen knew it. Sure. Without paying any attention, Kent went to his study with his phone in hand. However, Aileen's predictions didn't end there. A few days later, as Kent was getting ready for work, Aileen spoke to him. "Dad, you shouldn't eat lunch outside." "Why not?" "A bird will steal it." It's dangerous. Oh, okay. Kent gave a casual response and left the house with his bag. That evening, as soon as Kent returned home, he called Aileen excitedly and told her about it.
Aileen, your prediction came true. While I was having a sandwich at the park during my sales rounds because I was short on time, a crow swooped down and stole it.
What? At this time of year, they're aggressive due to nesting season, so they might attack suddenly. Man, I got seriously scared. I looked at Aileen in surprise. Did you dream about it again?
Yeah. See, I was right, wasn't I? It's amazing for a coincidence. It's accurate down to the smallest details.
Kent nodded approvingly, as if impressed, and crossed his arms. And Eileen's prophetic dreams continued. Dropping a handkerchief at the station. Emergency stoppage of the elevator. Vegetables bought at the supermarket rotting. Buying the wrong size of clothes. Even if we heard Eileen's predictions in advance, dealing with them was difficult, and honestly, knowing the prediction didn't really help much. However, Kent, who liked paranormal phenomena and often watched TV specials and online videos about them, strangely rejoiced, saying, Eileen's mysterious power has awakened. Children have sharp sensitivity, so cases of seeing spirits or making predictions have been happening all over the world since ancient times. But I never imagined that such power would reside in my own child. That's amazing. Aileen smiled happily as Kent spoke enthusiastically. It was a nice trend for Kent, who had been indifferent to himself before, to actively talk to Aileen and invite her to watch videos together. For Aileen, it was definitely a joyous development. I felt relieved yet complicated at the same time. Couldn't Kent just love his daughter in a normal way? Despite Aileen being so adorable. A few days later, I complained to May about it at a cafe, but she brushed it off easily. That's just how he is. He can't understand things like family bonds or friendship. Without love, she's just another plaything to him. He'll discard her once he gets bored. I used to think he was cool and sophisticated. But in the end, it turns out he only loves himself. Yeah, he's a narcissist, through and through. I didn't see through him before we got married. By the way, May, have you set a date for the wedding? May, who was asked, smiled shyly.
Yeah, I think the invitations will arrive soon. If you'd like, you can bring Aileen with you. Really? She loves you so much, so I'm sure she'll be thrilled.
From there, they enthusiastically discussed the wedding reception at the hotel while enjoying delicious waffles. The night before May's wedding, which was scheduled for tomorrow. Aileen unfortunately caught a cold and developed a fever. The next morning, although Eileen's fever had subsided slightly, she decided to miss the wedding. Unable to leave Aileen alone while she was still recovering, I told Kent, I'll stay home too. As a result, only Kent attended May's wedding. Aileen had been really looking forward to seeing May in her wedding dress, so I had no comforting words to offer. After Kent left for the wedding, as I was tidying up the living room, Aileen, who had been napping, came downstairs. Aileen, is it okay for you to be up already? Concerned, I asked, and Aileen muttered with a distant look on her face. Dad's plane is on fire.
What happened?
That's the evidence. Aileen pointed her finger at the smartwatch placed on the living room table. I didn't understand what she was talking about and thought Aileen was just half asleep. Confused, I asked, and Aileen inquired with a firm tone. Mom, do you know that Dad is going to Hawaii soon? What? I had no idea. At 9:45 p.m., he's leaving from the airport, flight L794. He's going with someone named Naomi. Naomi? Who's that? He was talking to her on the phone, saying he could lie about it being a business trip. Aileen picked up the smartwatch and handed it to me. I secretly recorded Dad's conversation with the woman. What? You shouldn't do things like that. While cautioning Aileen, I took the smartwatch and stared at it intently. After making sure Aileen went back to her room after drinking a glass of water, I sat on the sofa, feeling nervous, and pressed the playback button on the smartwatch. It was hard to hear clearly, but there was definitely a recording of Kent's voice. Ah, I've booked a hotel with an ocean view as Naomi wanted. Let's love each other a lot. Kent's words made me doubt my ears. Continuing in his lovey-dovey tone, oblivious to being recorded, Kent said.
Yeah, I can't wait to be together soon. But my wife won't agree to a divorce. I'm sorry for making you wait for 2 years. I love only you, Naomi.
Upon hearing these decisive words, I was stunned. Suppressing my anger, I checked through the rest of the conversation. Then, I discovered infuriating facts. All of Kent's recent business trips were actually rendezvous with his affair partner. What was unforgivable was the fact that he went on a cheating trip on the day of our daughter's piano recital. I was filled with intense anger. Is prioritizing a cheating trip over our daughter's recital what a father does? Disappointment and fury jumbled up my mind. A surge of intense anger rose within me, heating up my body. Fine. Then, I'll give him a divorce. But he'll have to pay the price for betraying me and Aileen, that's for sure. I messaged Mai to inform her of the situation when she returned from her honeymoon, and she replied with a message saying, again, followed by a phone call. During his college days, Kent was caught in a love triangle, which led to some dramatic scenes with his girlfriends. I can't forgive him for betraying our daughter, regardless of anything else. Although divorce is inevitable, I want to settle the score before that. Yeah, I agree. So, how about doing this? I smirked at May's plan. As the end of the month approached, Kent informed me. I'm going to Hawaii the day after tomorrow. I couldn't help but glance at Naomi, who was reading a picture book in the living room. Another business trip? Seems like you've been going quite often lately. Yeah, everyone's counting on me. It's a pain to be gone for 5 whole days. With a smirk, Kent continued his fibbing. Aileen, who had somehow appeared beside me, asked Kent. Dad, are you going to Hawaii? Yeah. I'll be on flight JL 794. That plane's going to catch fire. Kent was taken aback by Eileen's casual remark. Did you dream about it again? Geez, what a bother. Maybe I should reschedule the flight or give him a call. Him? He's my colleague who's going with me. I'll give him a quick call. Kent said, looking flustered as he headed upstairs. Aileen watched him with a worried expression. A month after the wedding, May suggested organizing a dinner gathering for Kent's family and relatives. Since Aileen had been unable to attend the wedding due to her illness, May arranged to rent out the restaurant in the same hotel. Aileen, now completely recovered, was delighted as she wore the pink dress originally intended for the wedding, styled her long hair, and carried her favorite beaded purse. Kent's relatives were all familiar faces from our wedding. However, there was one unfamiliar young woman among them, who kept glancing at Kent. Standing next to me, Kent looked stiff, avoiding looking in her direction. Perplexed, I asked my mother-in-law, who kindly explained. She's Naomi, Kent's childhood friend. She's always had a crush on Kent, like part of the family, so we invited her today too. Oh, I see. I always thought she'd end up marrying Kent, but it's a shame she ended up choosing someone like you, my mother-in-law remarked, looking puzzled. I couldn't care less about my mother-in-law's snide remarks. What mattered more was my struggle to conceal my surprise. I had heard from May that Naomi was Kent's childhood friend, but I never expected my mother-in-law to invite her to the dinner gathering. She must be oblivious to Kent's infidelity. Being so concerned about appearances, she despised anything that went against societal norms. It was perfect timing for the culprit himself to show up. With Kent blatantly ignoring Naomi, I couldn't help but smirk beside him. As we began to eat at separate tables with our families, Naomi casually strolled over.
Nice to meet you, Cindy. I'm Naomi.
Kent's childhood friend, she said in a somewhat disoriented tone, casting judgmental glances at me and Aileen.
Why didn't you introduce me, Kent? I couldn't wait any longer, so I came over.
Sorry, I was too busy eating. This is Cindy and Aileen. Naomi used to live nearby. We treated her like a little sister when we were kids. Kent introduced, with a forced smile, much to Naomi's dissatisfaction. She seemed displeased with the formalities. As I sipped my wine, I glanced at the woman. Probably still in her 20s, she was a beautiful woman with an attractive figure and undeniable allure.
Aileen, right? Hello. You're so cute, just like your dad.
Hello.
Wow, your voice is adorable too. Aileen, want to become part of our family?
Naomi, I think you've had a bit too much to drink. Really? Then, Kent, take care of me like you always do. Just like old times, huh? Kent chuckled nervously, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. As I finished my glass of wine, I put on a smile and addressed Naomi.
Nice to meet you, Naomi. It seems like my husband has relied on you a lot in the past.
Cindy, that's ancient history. We both have partners now. Well, it seems like you and Naomi are still lovey-dovey, huh, Kent? What are you talking about? Kent stammered, looking pitifully flustered. Aileen stood up and showed us her smartwatch. Mom, is it okay? I nodded, and she pressed the playback button.
Naomi, I love you.
Echoed throughout the venue, causing Kent to spit out his beer in shock.
What is this? Aileen, stop this right now.
Kent panicked, snatching the smartwatch from Aileen. However, he couldn't figure out how to stop it, and the remarks about Naomi continued to blare loudly.
I want to get cozy with Naomi in bed right now. Young women are the best, your skin is so tight and fresh. My mom keeps pressuring me to have an heir, but there's no way I could handle a wife in her 30s. Oh, speaking of which, she totally neglects the kids. I'm the one doing all the housework and childcare. They call guys like me real perfect dad, you know, the ones who do everything.
After a moment of stunned silence, the room erupted into murmurs. Kent's parents looked down, their cheeks stained by the cold stares of their relatives. Now sober, Naomi looked down at Kent with a bewildered expression. This isn't what it looks like.
Dad's a liar.
Aileen shouted, her face turning crimson. What? Where's this coming from all of a sudden? With her cute face flushed red, Aileen launched into a rapid-fire barrage of accusations at Kent.
You're the one neglecting me, not Mom. Even though she works too, she does everything at home. You never even bother to pick up your socks. Why are you lying?
I'm not. Aileen exposed Kent's behavior with a loud voice echoing throughout the venue.
Mom always plays with Aileen. She bathes me, reads me stories, and sleeps with me. We even practice piano together. But Dad gets mad when I talk to him and says I'm noisy, and he's always playing games at home.
Yeah, seriously. And by the way, I heard there was talk of divorce, but this is news to me. Stop making up stories on your own, please. Kent's expression turned into one of rage as I joined in scolding him. He slammed his clenched fist down on the table.
Shut up. A daughter talking back to her father shows a lack of motherly discipline. Hey, Cindy, remember, I, a graduate of a prestigious university, married you, a graduate of a junior college. Show some gratitude. Besides, isn't it a wife's duty to take care of her husband?
Spitting venom and insults, Kent glared at Aileen.
Aileen, remember this. You'll take care of me in the future too.
What? No way. Why do I have to take care of Dad when he never plays with me? Aileen retorted with a valid point, causing me to chuckle. Kent, now excited, looked to Naomi for agreement. See, this is what my wife and daughter are like. Can you blame me for being fed up? Yeah, I've had enough too. Let's break up. That's right. Huh?
It's all lies.
Naomi said, her voice tinged with anger and dissatisfaction.
You were complaining about his lazy wife, but according to your daughter, it's totally different. And it seems you didn't even discuss divorce with his wife. Plus, I heard you liked children, but actually, you hate them, right? Kent, this is who you really are. I can't believe you anymore.
Kent was taken aback. His confident demeanor crumbled, and he looked pathetic with his furrowed brow.
Naomi, it's not like that. Please listen to me. I can't stand male chauvinism. I can't deal with that kind of thing. Find someone else. But, you're the only one for me.
Kent said with a crestfallen expression as Naomi glanced at him and walked away, clutching her bag. Seeing Kent freeze in shock, I decided to speak up. I've been putting up with it because Aileen is still young and I thought she needed her dad. But I've had enough. I'll let you go, so make sure to pay alimony and child support properly. Kent, staring at the spot where Naomi had left, turned back to me with an incredulous look. Are you serious about getting a divorce? Well, Kent, it seems like you don't want me and Aileen anymore. So, from now on, feel free to be friendly with as many young girls as you like. I'll take care of Aileen. Come on, you're joking, right? How do you expect a single mother to survive? Kent chuckled lightly, glancing between me and Aileen. You guys can't live without me. If you take back what you said now, I'll let everything I said before slide. The arrogance and insults from earlier, I'll forget all about them. I was utterly exasperated by Kent's attitude. Does he even see reality properly? Listen, we're not the ones who can't make it without you, Kent. You're the one who needs us more than 6-year-old Aileen does. From now on, take care of yourself. I stood up and looked at May, her husband, and the relatives. I apologize for causing a disturbance. I'll take my leave now. As May's immediate family and the hosts, Kent and his parents wouldn't be able to leave early. They would have to endure the rest of the dinner, subjected to snide remarks from the relatives, in an uncomfortable situation. It must have been tough for Kent's parents, who care so much about appearances. Well, according to my mother-in-law, Aileen and I aren't considered part of the Sato family, so it's irrelevant to them. Feeling relieved, Aileen and I left the venue together. When Kent returned from the dinner, I handed him the divorce papers. Make sure to fill it out properly. We'll decide on the amount for alimony and child support through a lawyer later. Also, this apartment was bought by me when I was single, so please vacate it soon. Kent seemed like he wanted to argue, but perhaps realizing it would be pointless, he quickly signed the documents. He agreed to the amount presented by the lawyer, and after confirming the lump sum transfer from savings, we officially cut ties. Later, Kent was branded as a liar by his affair partner and got dumped. When he was blamed by relatives and his parents, he showed no remorse, which led to him being cut off from his family. Moreover, rumors about Kent's infidelity and divorce spread quickly within his company, leading to him resigning. He thought he could easily switch to his desired job, but he was repeatedly rejected for full-time sales positions in interviews. Eventually, he had to resort to working multiple part-time jobs. He's now working tirelessly from morning till night, being scolded by a younger female manager, and having his pride crushed. Now living alone in a rundown 1 LDK apartment, Kent seems to be lonely. Meanwhile, using the money from selling the apartment, we moved closer to my parents' house, and Aileen and I are leading a peaceful life together. With the troublesome husband who used to boast without even being able to take care of himself gone, I feel more relaxed, and Aileen laughs more often than before. I was worried that Aileen might miss Kent, but it seems she doesn't care about a father who is indifferent to her. She doesn't even mention the word dad. I should have done this sooner. However, if Aileen ever expresses a desire to see him, I intend to contact Kent. By the way, the prophecy in the dream disappeared completely after the divorce. Perhaps our marital discord made Aileen anxious, leading to such phenomena. I still meet May regularly and have a chat. She amusingly reports about Kent's haggard appearance and how our parents-in-law got lectured by relatives about the affair. This spring, Aileen entered elementary school. Since she returns home earlier than from nursery school, my parents take care of her when I have to work overtime. Having visited my parents' house with Aileen since before, she is attached to them, and they dote on her as their only grandchild. From now on, I intend to cherish Aileen while receiving support from my parents as needed.